There are two references, they always pop up. One is the ashram, and the second is New Age philosophy. The main is Swami Vijnanananda. Now I'm going to publish a separate video series on New Age philosophy, a separate videos on Swamiji, and some videos on the ashram, the concept of ashram, what that extra ashram was. So, what scientists today are suggesting, especially the people who are quantum physicists, and they are very curious, eager, and they're working really hard to understand the nature of consciousness. They should study this ashram, the design of this ashram. This ashram was the projection of Swamiji's mind. If you go into the ashram, it's what was almost 2 acre area, physically speaking, in terms of dimension, all that. And when I came in contact with that ashram, I feel very peace of mind and sure about something. And I somehow, even before visiting that place, I had somehow attracted to it, as if it was my destinies place, it was my place, or where I belong to. And then eventually I joined that ashram as a life devotee, first as a seeker and then life devotee, and then I'm continued to be connected with that space for 35 years, though I have no formal relation with that institution as such for last 25 years. But the space, the mind field which was created by Swamiji is still in sync with my mind. So irrespective of the current documents there or the people who run the institution, the space which was conditioned by Swamiji's sacrifice and knowledge, selfless work, and conscious efforts to empower the society, leaders, common people, generation next, is continued. All my life of 30 or 35 years and experiments and data, the effects on my physiology, mind, the way I did the predictions, the way I conducted experiment, the way I followed Swamiji's philosophy, that all the data shows that how deeply I am entangled with that space. But that's not my only experience. I'm not the only one seeker. There are hundreds of people. And this was designed by Swamiji. If you look that ashram from a third person view, or a detached person, or from observer view, you will find it like a labyrinth. It's a complex place to. You will not understand anything as such. As a newcomer, you will feel suddenly that the moment you enter the gate, the moment you enter the space, you will feel some physiological subtle changes in your body. You'll feel calm down, comfort, confident, less anxiety, less stress, and your mind will also be sure about something, that you are going to get some kind of guidance, insight, input, or some kind of remedy in this place. If you join Swamiji's lectures, which are in audio form now, but by that time, uh, then he used to tell you that my knowledge is followed by the selfless service for people, sacrifice, which is followed by the pain. Why it is must to improve your mind power, improve your intelligence, knowledge. What is the relation between you and nature? How your mind works? And then at the end of the lecture or seminar or 3 days seminar, he used to suggest people to do some kind of a sankalp. Now, this sankalpa concept is very basic of neo philosophy, because he used to suggest that there are out of 24 hours, you spend 8 hours in sleep, 16 hours you are working, and out of 1 hour, 6.25%, you devote to society. You do the selfless work for that 1 hour a daily. And why this sankalpa has to maintain throughout the life? But if you are having some ambition, wish, sankalpa, personal achievement, you want to achieve some goal in life, why it should be continued at least for 7 years, 90 days to 7 years, to create a new entire reality for you. Sankalp is first important. And if you do the sankalp in that space, the seeding of that sankalp, the dharana, the acquire of that sankalpa is much easier in that uh, space, because it is conditioned, it is designed that way. Like we do the certain experiments in lab, because lab experiments are conditioned that way, they are designed that way, they are designed for that purpose. So if you do the sankalpa in that space, the chances and the probability is high that you are going to get your wish fulfilled. uh, Condition apply that you should follow the rules of the nature and all these things. And once you become the seeker and you follow the sankalpa, then you have to do the fit the mind graph. You know, he had designed a mind graph in which four major temperaments were. There was a graph of 30 days, and four major temperaments were mentioned: fear, rage, courage, and peace of mind. And you have to make a point on that daily, by taking just 1 minute. What was the status of mind whole day? What my mind was dominant by was fear, rage. So we have to just remind the whole day events, and then put a point, make a point on that. And eventually, after 30 days, it will create a graph, and you have to send it to ashram, to Swamiji. Now, if you are very serious about these things, if you follow the laws of nature, if you follow philosophy, and then if you follow the graphs and send the graph to ashram, eventually what will happen is that your mind will be entangled with the ashram's sacred space. Now, what is the meaning of sacred space? We'll come to that later on. Okay. Uh, but that's the whole case here. And this is not about just belief. I'm not talking about here faith or belief. Of course, people have faith, and of course, people believe that. But this ashram was not like that. It's not just believing that. Uh, we were not believers. We were seekers of truth. We were seeking something. This ashram was like a energy generator, where the laws of mind work for you, where the knowledge bank is works for you. So this is not a general ashram where you go and seek the guru's blessings, donate some money. It's not like that. You have to follow some rules, you have to guidelines, laws of nature, do the sacrifice, selfless service. So there is a procedure to help to train your mind, to create new program in your brain, to change your neuroplasticity, to create a new kind of reality in your life. And now every 3 months, the seekers and the newcomers, in this case, used to come to ashram, and then there was a big black hole like that. You may refer as black hole. Mahashundabindu used to call. And the concept is that you have to first you have to do the sankalp before that Mahashundabindu, and then Swamiji used to meet you. And the second thing is that every time you come there, you just sit before the Mahashundabindu, the black hole, and pray that, and then explain your wish, and submit your graph, and submit your wish before that. And it was a very simple structure, black hole. Like it was just a, like a tunnel, and then there was a board on it, and then there was a black patch on that. But the concept is that your mind should be entangled. it should be kept on entangled. And that black hole was a symbol. It was a communication point between the ashram space and that the mind of the seeker. So when seeker are suggested to do some kind of prayers, meditation, and any kind of sacrifices, they were expected or they were suggested to entangle their minds with that black hole. So instead of thinking about Swamiji as a person or as a guru, Swamiji has redirected their intentions and their mind and their focus and attention to that black hole, which we call Mahashunya Bindu. Shunya means zero, Maha is big zero, and Bindu is point. So it was a very unique concept. And so all Swamiji suggested is that all the seekers should be entangled with that space and that certain point to share each and other energy, to 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 keep the mind entangles, to communicate each other, to share the energy, to share the bond, you know, to share the common interest, to share the, somebody needs energy. It's like an energy bank, and they may take it from that. So it's like a bank, kind of. And the whole idea was that you don't need to go there physically every time. You can be entangled with that. And hundreds of seekers have experienced these things, that when they suffer pain or they achieve something, they just remind of that process of entanglement. They just remind that Mahashunya Bindu. They just remind that conditioned space, and they feel comfortable. Hundreds and thousands of seekers experience physiological changes, neurological changes, anxieties, the stress is reduced, their hormones were balanced, their focus was improved, their children study, cognitive abilities were improved. There are hundreds of case studies about that. So this ashram is a very unique experiment, a live experiment of entangled minds. And we'll come back to in the next video and talk about that in the next video. Thank you very much.